Hey everyone, we're back. I am back with 40 this time. Zodi is unable to come here today because he is sick. So, big news is happening this month for JP as we just had OPOP last night. So, some cool stuff is happening. How are you doing, 40?
Doing good. It's good to be back. Try to be a part of this whenever I can and to talk about all the good, sweet stuff happening on the JP side of Opera Omnia. Definitely a lot of good stuff happening. So I'm looking forward to kind of chatting it up about it and giving our feedback and thoughts about what's going on with the game.
Yeah. I was kind of like surprised when I saw the BT character. I mean, some people predicted it correctly, but I did not expect Sid Reigns to be the next FR-BT character, and last character kind of took away all my gems, and I wasn't able to get FR, so I guess I just have to pay that mistake for it, or stop taking all my gems.
Yeah. I assume that you went ham on Celis?
I got lucky with Celeste and got BT and 50 tickets, but I had to go 75k gems deep for the FR. So I don't know. I thought that was really worth it because I probably am not going to use Celeste much. And Dorgan, I just thought I was going to use them more if because I have Arden, FR, and BT plus. So I thought, hey, pair those two up because those two are going to be pretty good partners because Arden rebreaks a lot and Dorgan's follow-ups can chain pretty well the more enemies there are, which is interesting. I did not know that he could do that, which his potential is pretty high.
Yes, it is. It definitely is. I mean, there's a lot, especially with specific fights. One that was showcased was the Transcendence 10 with the giant Omega robot that constantly spawns its ads. Pretty much Dorgan with Force Effect will continuously do the follow-up because of how that fight functions and will just completely obliterate that fight. He is a fantastic unit. It's just interesting that these units that are NPCs in their respective games or characters that we don't necessarily are not nearly as drawn to as far as like main characters tend to be very overpowered.
Yeah. Like, I mean, most of the time I'm pulling for the new characters just because they're new, and I have no idea how strong they will be in the future and how it transports.
Absolutely, yeah. So Dorgan was definitely one that I would say is very powerful. Bit of an unknown character.
Yeah,
but
he's powerful in the right situations with the right setups. He isn't going to be like one of those characters that's going to be immediately just good off the bat. You just have to kind of think a little bit with who you want to pair him up with.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm assuming you saw the trailer on Sid Reigns' FR trailer and who the green gloopy pubes monster is.
Yeah, it's an interesting monster that they're having. I don't really understand what that thing is.
It's they're using the Atlas variant. I could tell that, but it's interesting how that boss is going to be. Well, it's going to be the boss, and it's like centered around launching. Oh, that's all I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Sid Reigns being the BT character, it makes sense. And I predicted Sid Reigns too, only because Pandemonium affects launch. So I'm like, if they're gonna release a Spiritus event for Pandemonium, the BT character has to do something with launch. And the only characters that I could think of would be like Sid Reigns, Kais, rerunning Lael with FR. That's what I was thinking in my head. So I was like, it has to be something like that for it to coincide with the event. And I mean, lo and behold, it's Sid Reigns. I know some people thought Enna Crow. I guessed Enna Crow too, but then Enna Crow never had her lost chapters yet, so it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Sid Reigns is just about to break the game once again.
Yeah.
Because he was still a very broken character when he first came out with the way that he was designed, and he's about to do it again.
And yeah, we saw the trailer, and his FR numbers are really good.
Yes, and it doesn't seem very difficult to set up either because you're setting up launches, and if you have Sid Reigns, You're gonna launch a lot,
So his FR conditions actually are out. So what it does is it's 15% whenever said range launches, but 10% whenever someone else initiates a launch. And the second condition is 10% after a party member enters the chase sequence or does an attack in the chase sequence. So it can go stack up to 3 times if Sid Reigns is the one that initiates it. So essentially, if you do only just the base numbers, it's 15, 10, 10, 10, which is on paper it doesn't look that much, which is like only 45%. But apparently that doesn't apply much. That doesn't apply well because in the trailer, Sid Reigns is doing 90%, 100%, increasing the FR. So there's a lot of like other key factors that are involved in this. Oh, I guess they're forgetting about the how much. I don't know. It does. I'm assuming that there's something had to do with Sid Reigns' HP dumps, if that counts as once per. Cause
that could be a possibility that they would be counting that. Because I saw in the trailer that there was at one point it went up by 100%, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, that's always seems to be a weird case with on paper it looks okay, but in practice it looks more insane.
Right, yeah. It does, which I'm pretty sure once content is released for it in a few hours and people start brainstorming party comps and testing it out, we're gonna be seeing some insane numbers like we did when he first came out as a character. So.
Oh yeah. But we also have his BT effect already revealed. Well, not revealed. It's already been kind of translated pre-data mined, so take this with a grain of salt. None of this is set in stone until we literally see it tonight, and it literally comes out. So what it does is he gives the party brave damage, increased brave damage dealt, HP damage dealt. Wait, hold on. There's wait, that's not the correct one. Sorry, my bad. It's because he does increase the HP damage cap up. Okay, here it is. So there's he increases the HP damage dealt, and especially during chase, by a certain percentage. I'm assuming that's part of it was not translated properly or not fully translated. He increases the HP damage cap by 30% outside of chase, but in chase it's increased by 50%. And same goes with HP damage up and brave gain up and 50% brave cap up. So his party orders are good. Only downside is his BT effect only lasts for 6 turns. But there's one other key feature, which is his follow-up attack in the air changes from which it was like 3 dumps that ignore defense to now 7 HP dumps that ignore defense, which is insane. This is like Tifa levels of damage.
Yeah, that is Tifa level. Like every time Tifa would do like a follow-up, or she does 2 follow-ups with her burst effect up. This is pretty much very, very similar to that. I mean, 7 HP dumps with defense ignore, that's a lot of damage in the air. And then let's not forget, when enemies hit the wall in the air, it adds more damage on top of that. So we're gonna see a lot of ridiculous numbers, which I'm already predicting that the Spiritus level boss is probably gonna have a ton of HP, because this is a lot of damage that you're gonna be piling on.
Last time the Brothers boss had over 200, like 30 million HP if you didn't bypass the 210 million. An additional 20 million if you didn't bypass the shield mechanic, which adds another 20 million. So I'm assuming this boss is going to have like 350 million HP.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. So I'm definitely pulling for this character. Even though I'm dead broke, I'll find a way somehow to pull for the BT and FR.
For sure. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun character to pull for.
Worst comes to worst, I bring Sophie, and hopefully the boss isn't immune to debuffs. Or doesn't, because I feel like they might end up doing that, because they realize Sophie is pretty goddamn broken. Or I might have to somehow cheese it with Tifa. And yeah, I might have to find some extra cheese with just multiple follow-up characters like usual, with like Kane,
Right.
Core, Sidrain's
Dorgan.
call ability. Yeah, that's true because there are 3 targets,
Yeah.
so that could help. Yeah, that might be the case, and then. Yeah, I'm banking on the fact that I will get Sidrain's BT, but I might be later down the line once I farm all the gems.
Yeah, you have gems we'll have gems to farm, which is nice that we'll be able to recover some resources. So
yeah,
that's gonna be good.
this also is a good time for at least the first half of the month with a lot of gems because we're getting not only a new summon event, we also get a Transcendence campaign. For you and me who complete already Transcendence 1 through 9, we aren't going to get those rewards again unless somehow it's bugged, which I doubt. So we get the reward for 10, 11, 12. So
and that's like what 80,000 gems for all the way up to 12, right?
Yes, if you haven't claimed any of the rewards. So it might.
That's a lot of gems.
Yeah. But besides that, and a Crow Lost chapter is coming, and all we know is that the partner is Hope. It erases all enemy turns. HP damage bonus is going to be when party uses a Holy or Dark command, and the second one is when party member deals a damage past the Brave damage cap. So that's going to be interesting. I'm assuming that Anna Crow's force ability is going to increase the cap, or do something essentially be like a BT effect.
Right.
Because that's been the trend nowadays. Because some of these FR effects are getting more and more nutty.
They are.
Yeah. Like, who wasn't? That wasn't Beatrix. Arnea. 50% HP damage cap up and 50% HP damage up. Is pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Yeah.
That's a pretty nutty effect.
Same with Dorgan, just resetting the break status every single attack.
Yeah. So which pretty much guarantees a follow-up with him. So,
yep.
Yeah, I have some high hopes for Anna Crow. I just hope that the rework that they have planned for her kind of fixes their clunkiness, because the thing about her character is that she could potentially deal a ton of damage per turn. It's just there's a lot of micromanaging, and I feel like the micromanaging is so unnecessary because you could just fix that with like a properly built party comp that complements her, and then you don't even have to worry about the stacks. Because I had this conversation with a few people in my chat because we were talking about how clunky she is, because she needs to maintain her overhead stacks in order to really benefit from what she does. But if you don't want to have to worry about that, just run her with people that give HP damage cap up, Brave refund, then you're good. Like, you don't even, because most of the attacking is done by the mecha that comes. So her Brave she never loses her Brave by pressing a majority of her buttons. So I don't understand why they designed her that way, why she has a mechanic that they want you to manage it, but it's clunky. So it's like, well, I'll just team build around her and we don't need to worry about that. So hopefully they do some kind of rework where I feel like there would be more interaction with her actual overhead and maintaining that overhead, because I really don't see the need for it. I really don't.
I mean, most of the time you and I both saw that trailer when she first came out. It's like, ooh, she has a mech. But then after playing around with her, you realize I only want her to pilot the mech.
Yeah.
So that's where all of her damage comes from.
And like, when will you ever press you press skill 1 just to refresh her buff and refresh the debuff, and that's it. And that's like her only attack that she uses. Yeah,
by the time that you do that, boss is already dead. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so hopefully she has a good rework.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for.
I guess what most people probably want is that her overhead buff is at least longer, more than at least 2, maybe max 4 turns. But at the end of the day, you really only want her to just pilot the mech. And it would be nice if skill 1 reset I don't know, if it's 25% chance to give her 100%, like, do you fully recharge her EX gauge?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems to be kind of a weird gimmick.
Well, I think one way they could fix her is allow all of her skills, including skill 1, to give at least a stack of her overhead, because her overhead doesn't actually have a turn duration. It decreases every time she takes an action. So, like if you have 1 stack of it, then you see 65. Well, then there goes a stack of it. And then her LD grants 2 stacks, and then her EX grants 1 stack. So if all of her skills can grant a stack, or even if she has like another button that she could press that grants a stack and maintains the stacks longer, where she doesn't continuously drop them, I think that would make for a better interaction with that particular mechanic that she has, because it's just an odd it's just a really odd mechanic where she could potentially deal a ton of damage, but the way you maintain it is just very clunky. So
yeah, I mean, if at the end of the day she's a DPS character,
yeah,
so if you have
selfish one at that.
Yeah, if you have a lot of them, you might consider just passing up on it, but
yeah,
if you like her, go for it.
Yeah, she has the cool factor because, I mean, she freaking summons a Gundam. So.
Yeah. But next character that's coming after that is Lilith Set with a rework in FR. Her part is with Penelo. She... Let's see. Okay, she does have an HP attack, because some of these characters nowadays don't... Some may have a HP attack at the end of the FR, or just might be like a battery only. But she does an HP attack. But her force time conditions are when a turn passes with a character dealing crit brave damage, that increases HP damage bonus, and when a turn passes with a character selecting an attack command based on the number of debuffs on target, HP damage up. So it's kind of like a mix of like Kefka's like BT effect, depending on how many debuffs there are and if you're doing crit. On top of that, oh yeah, she batteries the party and enemies' speed is decreased.
Doesn't seem too hard.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too bad. Seems pretty easy to manage with the debuffs. But I mean, last time we had a condition like with the number of debuffs on target. It was Ferris, and her max FR percentage was capped out at 45%, which I've been talking with a couple people, and I think I agree with like Omar and Zoro when it comes to like the FRs, and nowadays it's like if it doesn't increase above like at least 60 or 80% or more, it's just not many people are going to be looking at that FR or even polling for it, no matter how strong it is, because it doesn't really matter how much whatever it gives, because unless you max out the FR and making it as high as possible, you might not be able to like one-shot the boss in that one phase. Which is why I think I agree with them when they say cap the FR percentage at 500%. As a contradictory statement as that might be, cap it out at 500%, and it can't be no more than that. Because if you can't, because most bosses are dying anyway. We don't even play with the mechanics anymore with Tifa and Rinoa.
I agree. Yeah, there's truth to that, because when a brand new FR is shown, you know, a lot of the things that matters to players nowadays is how big are the numbers, how easy is it to make the numbers big, and most of the time you'll see FRs like, okay, that's good, and another one you'll be like, wow, that's like exceptional. And generally, most players nowadays want to go with like the exceptional easy route. So
yeah. They're taking the path of least resistance, which in this case is Tifa most of the time. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and unfortunately the downside is that we have to deal with bosses that have either nutty one-shot mechanics, or they just straight up just try to inhibit our FR build-up times, or even just straight up murder us if once we use one turn command. Or they just have unbelievable amount of HP to counter it. Which I don't mind pressing the FR multiple times for a fight.
I don't mind it either. I've done it already. You know, I just work through it.
Last time that happened for me was the last Spiritist fight with the unicorn.
Yep.
I did it. I had to press the FR like 3 times. Not, 3 times with Tifa and Core. It may not have been the most effective like second time I had to do it, but I got the job done. It's just that some of these bosses' mechanics are really, really oppressive. Like that boss prevented you from breaking, delaying, and prevented them from being broken, which are really, really oppressive. I mean, now they're going to be like, I wouldn't be surprised if this boss said, hey, you can launch it, but you're not allowed to, the boss is not allowed to be broken, not allowed to be delayed, not allowed to be imperiled, not allowed to, your max wave is capped at like 10, like reduced by 90%, and unable to be broken. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case if it's right now.
You never know. They might. We might come across something like that one of these days. Yeah.
Seems like it's the case. I mean, the last time I really, really struggled is the Hope event with Bartendolus.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that one was pretty. I mean, that was also that other mechanic, which is if you get broken, you die.
Yeah. Yep. That's one where that fight was pretty tricky. You needed to really know the timing of the mechanics and also understand what you cannot allow to happen and things like that. And party composition and really building around it was key to beating that fight, because that one I had to try a few times before I got the timing down and everything.
Yeah, it doesn't help that the first attack that the boss does is a straight up nuke.
Yeah, it's pretty much like
it's a damage
pretty
range.
much just like the Odin fight. If you get broken with Zantetsuken, you die.
Yeah.
You know. So.
And if you don't have a way to, and basically it's a damage race to the boss's FR, or to boss 50% for the boss's FR if you're using any kind of melee or range. Because if you do any of those attacks after the boss gains a 50% FR, boss insta kills you no matter what. But I think the only way you could prevent that is if you basically speed up your FR to 100% before the boss gets to that point, or you use characters like Vaughn and and Renoa and kind of like battle it out, and using like calls like Setzer or Rydia, or a very popular one was Raijin. Those are very, very key call abilities.
Yeah, Raijin, even Rydia call.
Yep, Rydia is very, very key. I heavily relied on Rydia call, because that 3 turns of just perfect evasion is very, very necessary.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially for abilities, for AOE abilities that can really mess up your party. Either rather than just outright killing them, they could like do something to where it just makes the fight so unmanageable for several turns. So that call was very, very key for recent fights for me as well. That Rydia call.
But I think the last couple things they added was they announced that Arc 3 Chapter 11 Part 1 is the last chapter they announced that the last part of the Arc 3 chapters are coming soon, towards the end of late April. So the end of this Arc story is coming to an end. But also, C100 is coming soon. So I'm excited to see what C100 is going to bring, but also I'm kind of worried that how much power creep and necessary it's going to be.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find out. I mean, I saw something about force boards or FR boards being a thing.
Yes, they did announce that.
You know, I was hoping it would be burst boards, but maybe that'll be tied into C100. But we'll just have to see, because I still feel they need to do something about very outdated and just outright bad burst plus effects, because they exist.
Yep.
And there are several of them where it's just like, why would I want to press this button when I could have an LD buff that's almost as good but far less investment. Like, why would I want to do that? Like, I hope that's something that we will see for C100. But I saw force boards and I'm just like, already? That's kind of early.
Yeah. So what they said about this was, in addition, as mentioned in the infiltration report of last December, in a new way, enjoying FR weapons will be made available in the form of FR boards. The release date on that will be around end of June and should be using FR abilities easier and more enjoyable. More details will be released on the expected release date is near. So I took that as, I mean, I thought it was like, okay, to make it easier. I thought it was already easy to use FRs as is.
Yeah, they're not that hard to use.
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta understand how to build the gauge. There's so many videos that players can look at nowadays to see how to speed up the your own gauge before the enemy's gauge goes off. So it's not very difficult at all.
Yeah.
So I wonder what these boards is gonna bring that's gonna make this more fun. Like how can they make this more fun? I'm curious to see what they mean by that.
Yeah, but if anyone doesn't want to like dig around too much and too deep, a good rule of thumb is if the character has instant turn rate battery, they will charge the FR boards fast. And so if it's instant turn rate, battery, or healing, for example, Hope, Aerith, Selfie, Ignis, characters like that are very good examples that will turbocharge your FR gauge fast. But I think the last thing they announced was character adjustments. So tonight is Zodi with Sid Reigns. Then is Anna Crow with the Lost Chapter. Then we have the raid boss event with Lisette. Then we have a mid-month, which is a new BT character, which is teased to be Seymour, which I know someone is not going to be very happy with that, and quite a few people are happy because it's FF10 related. Then it's Guy, Fang in the same event, in the same mid-month event. Then we have Maria Entwined Wills. Then we have Theodore rework, and I was gonna say FR, but that's not announced. Then we have Yuna at the end of the month. So I think
it'd be a pretty packed month. For rework.
So I talked to you about this earlier, which is like, this is FF10 FF10 month. Do you think that they will actually do it this month? By bringing
we'll have to. Well, you know what? Until I see it.
Yeah.
I see it, and I see like a very huge, like a definitive hint. I'm not even gonna say if that character is gonna come out because we've already been disappointed so many times not seeing that character. Being brought.
I was joking around with other people. It's like, hey, they're gonna bring out another NPC. Like they're gonna bring out that one NPC that dies in the very beginning of the game and the city collapses, or that one guy that kicks Titas when he's speaking a different language when he first gets on the submarine.
Yeah, or like I don't know, but I mean, wasn't Jack Garland supposed to come out?
They said he's in the works coming soon. They said he's coming soon. They never gave us a definitive date when he's coming though.
Okay.
So
well, we're just gonna have to see. I don't want to be all excited and be like she's finally coming because it's 5 years and she's still not here. So I'm gonna need to see like something very definitive to be led to believe that she could potentially finally be in the game.
Yep.
You know,
it's one of those things that I won't believe until I see it.
Exactly. Yep.
But besides that, they only gave us one small quality of life, actually 2 quality of life enhancements for JP, which is they added a button that lets you, when you're doing co-ops, to either, it's the either button, which is it'll search for a free game, and then if there's none available, then you'll immediately start hosting a game, kind of like what Global has. And I'm not sure if they already had this before, or was it from the last quality of life, but they have the armor like exchange quality of life where you can just you can buy the maximum amount of armors for that character that's needed, and you can see how much armors you have of that character already in your inventory, so that you don't overbuy the armors.
Oh, I'm not sure if Global has the overbuy. I know we have the or does it? I'm gonna have to check.
We have that. It was that quality of life where where you can buy the max amount of armors needed to max limit break the armor.
Yeah.
In the armor token exchange. And then the last part was they had added new backgrounds to the characters based on the FR boards, I think, BT plus Ultima backgrounds, and something else. It's like 3 different backgrounds. They have like the same background as like a fully max limit broken Ultima weapon in the background. They have the yellow green lightning background if you have a BT plus equipped, and then dark purple if you have the FR boards or the FR equipped for the character.
Yeah.
Which is nice looking. But besides...
Yeah, I saw it earlier in game, and it actually does look pretty nice.
Yeah.
I like how it differentiates, based on the maximized weapon that you have for that character equipped.
Yeah, I thought immediately it's like, oh shoot, they unequipped all my stuff, all my characters, because I saw dark blue. It's like, it should be gold.
Yeah, but it's just a visual update, which it's a nice visual update.
Yeah. But I think we went through everything pretty quickly. But was there anything else you want to talk about?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm just excited to, be able to experience all the reworks that are coming out, and we're just gonna have to see who the supposed new character that'll be coming out for the month, if there is one for the month of April.
Yeah.
And then just wait for level 100 and see what that's gonna be bringing.
Yep. But besides that, I think they also said that we are still having free polls. I know they did announce that we're having free polls for the mid-month BT and FR. But I'm not sure if Sid Range's banner is going to have free polls, but if it does, cool. That means I have a chance to hopefully snag a free BT from free polls. And hopefully my luck doesn't cuck me on that.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't.
But thanks again, 40, for joining me on this episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And thank you guys for joining us. Thanks again to Blobs for hosting this.
And I guess we'll see you guys either in the mid-month if anything exciting happens on that OPOP, or next month when the next big OPOP comes out, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be very big for level 100. So stay tuned for that.
Yep.
So
stay tuned.
Yep. Thanks again, and see you guys.